I'm Johana Lopez, longtime ASD volunteer and neighbor. I grew up across the street from the ASD house and was active in their events without really knowing for a while. I called it the hippie house growing up. I thought it was a hippie house, the co-op on Whitman. No, but truly, I'm here today to let you know a little bit about who I am. I'm currently working for Council District 9, Sean Elo Rivera. I'm a student at San Diego City College studying public policy and law. So my passion really is to know about international and local issues. Like I said, I'm a longtime City Heights resident, and it's really interesting to work for the city, and I'm part of the district that I work in. So learning the ins and out of how the city deals with issues that we see in the community of City Heights and other primarily Hispanic and low income community members like Mount Hope and Stockton. So that's really where I've been at, making sure that we have events, engaging community members. A couple things that stood out to me about today was, our involvement with SDG&E. So I really, Martin's not here, but he mentioned something really important that stood out to me, which is how we can encourage nonprofits and community leaders to not be involved with SDG&E. So that's a really big one to me. It's really hard to say no when they will fund your event. We have a lot of turkey drives coming up, a lot of events coming up for the holidays, and I would love to see organizations and local agencies less involved with these vultures, essentially. So what I'm truly passionate about is transit. I'm a transit advocate. I helped out Mid-City Can, making sure that youth got free transit passes, and we're still keeping that going. So it's really important for our youth to get access to transit and get to know the neighborhoods in City Heights. I also was part of the movement to get a commission on police practices and to put a halt to the vigilancy of our communities in City Heights by police. So that's a little bit of what I've done in the past. I'm a longtime student. I'm big on learning, and I've learned a lot through the ASD, especially on international issues, and I'm here to keep learning and hopefully join you all. I would say the reason for me wanting to be a board member is to get more community members involved in City Heights specifically. City Heights is the home of ASD, of KNSJ, and I would love to see more community members. They're like ready to be active. You just need someone to poke them, to wake them up. And I think I'd be the perfect candidate for that. I'm bilingual. I've worked in a lot of projects and know how to organize people to get them, to be passionate and share what they're all about. So that's all I have for y'all today. If you have any questions for me, I'll be right here.
Hi, everybody. I kind of bring a certain perspective to this thing, and that will become more apparent in a moment. I'm originally from the Netherlands. I moved to America to study architecture. I graduated on a sustainable design track. And my specialty is affordable housing, sustainable because of my design concentration, and affordable. And the perspective that I bring from the Netherlands is smaller housing. And that's one of the issues in America, is that we build way too more house than we needed, which is one of the aspects also that makes things unaffordable for people. I've active in a number of groups that has been pushing affordable housing. I have been a chair for a group called the Social Housing Justice, where we have been pushing for social housing, because according to SANDAC, we have a shortfall just in San Diego City of more than 100,000 units up to 2029. And to even not fall further behind, we need to build more than 20,000 affordable units a year. And with all the projects that the city is going on, it's not anywhere close. So social housing, that's one of my things. I'm also a member of the Logan Heights housing community, which is where Martin's project is. And I've also been active as a chair for a group called the Social Housing Justice Committee, and that's also been pushing the social housing. But anyway, to get back to why I'm running for board, Martin either has this project, social housing, / communal living, affordable for people. Sorry, I should have said eco-village. My bad. Anyway, from that perspective, I also bring something from the Netherlands because there's a lot of co-housing movements going on there. And let me just make a quick sidestep about that, because when I was growing up in the Netherlands in a row house, we knew everybody in the street. We knew them by name. We knew the kids. We had block parties. I've been living in City Heights as well, and since 2013. But in these 11 years, we've only got to know one set of neighbors. They're Mexican, no surprise. Nobody else. And I think one of the things that we have in this society is alienation and loneliness. I think one of the things that we have with the political system, which is so at odds with that, is because we don't know each other anymore. And just one more side note, and I'll get back to the main thing. Some time ago on public television, I had an item in Japan where all the people are so lonely that they commit petty crimes to be sent to prison because they will have a community there. Anyway, to tie back in this is that we need these things, housing, social housing, whatever you want to call it, as a way that we can reconnect people. Our houses kind of are very defining for our welfare. So that's what I bring to the table, and has been suggested that as a board member, I can work to further Martin's projects. Anyway, that's my story, and I hope I've earned your vote.
One of the things that I think Activist San Diego could do a lot better is to become more of a multi-generational organization. So I wanted your thoughts on what we need to do and how we need to do it in order to transform ourselves.
That's a great question. So I would say this year I've been having a lot of full circle moments. In high school, I was part of the first ever committee to create a constitution for the Cesar Chavez service clubs. And I was also part of youth council, getting involved in learning about local and public power. And this year, I'm 21, I got to speak to those groups as the adult and talk to them about my experience. So then that's when I felt that feeling, okay, this is what happens once you move on, you take a step, you start working in local government, you have these opportunities to tell people about yourself and your experience and the route you took through life. And I think there's a lot we could do to engage young folks. Social media is a big part of young people's lives these days, and using that power for good. I think there's a lot of engagement we could do through social media and videos, graphic design, and just as well as engaging community members in the neighborhood. I had no idea that Activist San Diego was Activist San Diego there in that little greenhouse across the street. But I know a lot of youth that would love to come by, help out with flyers, help canvas, help go door to door and tell their community members, their family members, and bridge that gap, those language barriers. So I think what we could do is just engage young folks through showing up to their events, doing outreach at the park in City Heights. Unfortunately, after the pandemic, not a lot of services opened back up. So like the recreation center and activities at the park got closed down. So now what do kids do? They engage in negative activities. We have a lot more tagging, gang-related, graffiti, and bad. We have violence in City Heights. So getting those young folks to get involved and use that energy that they have, that anger that they have, and getting them riled up about power and in our local communities.
Well, I think that I can't speak to younger people. I'm not one of that. Once, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Anyway, I think that co-housing, where you build multi-generational units, is a way that we can kind of connect and spread the word. And as an architect, that's kind of can be my contribution, is building in such a way, and urban design as well, that we create these paths that allow people to react. So public spaces where we bring people together, that create attractive places where people want to be and get together. And these things are ways to nurture relationships. People tend to stick in their houses. I remember when we used to live in Boston, there was a neighborhood, Austin, where we sat a house, and all the Americans were inside behind the air conditioning. All the Hispanics were outside on the stoop. And let's create a situation where we have more stoops or whatever as places where people can meet and connect. So creating the public domain that allows these things to happen.
Hello, my name is Taylor Geyton, and I'm excited to share a little bit about myself and my vision for Activist San Diego, as well as some explanation of my application for the board. So, I am currently a faculty member in the School of Social Work at San Diego State University. I moved to San Diego this year for this position. And prior to that, I was an assistant professor in the School of Social Work at Portland State University in Portland, Oregon. My work has mostly focused on social justice, health disparities, and activism, especially among Black women. And through my research, I've been able to explore how activism serves both as a coping mechanism and a form of resistance against the mental health and physical health impacts of systemic racism, and more so how activism can be utilized in the treatment of various mental health struggles and disorders. I've dedicated my career to addressing the ways that oppression impacts marginalized communities, and I believe that activism is not just about reacting to injustice, but is also about building movements that can transform systems. And in order to do that, we have to care for the people who are building, which is you, activists. Um, and so my vision for moving forward and specifically with Activist San Diego includes like supporting the mission and space of Activist San Diego as a platform that amplifies voices from all communities, fighting for justice, communities that fight for justice, as well as fighting for justice for those communities. And then also to bring in a focus on holistic approaches to activism, and that is activism and resistance that touches all parts of the person and their experiences. Um, Specifically because I recognize that activism occurs not just through protests and events, but also through the care and concern of the mental and emotional well-being of people. I'm also hoping that I envision that Activist San Diego might be a place that um, is a catalyst for promoting the emotional and mental well-being of activists because of the toll that sustained activism can take on individuals, particularly those from minoritized backgrounds. And I see this as sort of a hub, a space that can hold the complexity of caring both for the people at the behest of the mission, as in the communities that we may be advocating for, as well as the people at the heart of the mission, the people who are doing the advocacy. Um, I am excited to engage in ASD, specifically regarding policy advocacy. I think it's really important that grassroots movements are connected with systemic change, and I think that much of the change that we see in society is a result of grassroots movement, and I know that and have been um, engaged in this work prior. I am also very passionate about addressing racial injustice, should I say. And that to me means not just tackling visible manifestations of inequality, but also seeking to restructure um, the systems that perpetuate inequity. And that in my vision places Activist San Diego as a force for intersectional and community-driven solutions that have structural impact. And so that is my vision. I want to talk a little bit about why I want to join the board. And I'll start with saying that I believe in the mission of Activist San Diego. I want to be able to use my experience and expertise in social work and activism to help shape the future of the organization. I have experience working extensively on issues related to racial justice and health disparities and health inequity and community resilience. And I'm eager to bring that expertise to the board. Um, Being a part of Activist San Diego does feel like a very natural extension of my own personal and professional mission. And I feel particularly excited about forging community partnerships and fostering critical consciousness in order to contribute to ASD's strategic direction and mission, and specifically in addressing racism and inequality, but not limited to um, issues to do with housing and substance use and treatment availability. I just feel that this is a very natural course for my of a connection in the community. And I am committed to making sure that this is a space where everyone feels empowered to fight for justice. I think that activism can also often feel out of reach for people. And I think Activist San Diego is a great place where we can get people involved and empower community members and um, anyone who might want to be an advocate or an activist, that they can. We're not just reacting, but building a future where people feel that they have a place in the fight for equity. And Yeah, so I think I feel like I'm talking a lot in this video. I'm again really excited to have the opportunity. I thank you for your consideration. I'm excited about the possibility of working with ASD, and I look forward to collaborating with all of you. Thank you so much.